when I was in my 20s, I had a lot of surgeries.
Because they told you surgery was the option, when that's not true. You can do so much. Yeah.
I had three in this breast, fibroids.
Mm-hmm.
One surgery in this breast.
Mm-hmm.
I had fibroids in my uterus. I think I had 2 surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Then I ended up with the toxic pregnancy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For the 2 births, right?
Mm-hmm.
My whole 20s was a mess because of Medi-Cal. And me not knowing about my body and me thinking that these people were actually trying to help me.
Right.
I believed it.
Most folks do, and we should be able to trust and believe that these folks are here to help us.
That was my generation, I think.
Yeah.
Oops. The thing is that when I look back on all the surgeries that I had, I didn't need any of it. They had one surgery where they took out my appendix. I didn't even know.
Wow.
Until I went to another doctor years later, and they looked at my chart. They said, "Oh, you had your appendix removed." I said, "No, I didn't." They don't even tell you.
Wow.
So
that's how much care they have for your body.
And now it's worse because everything is a pill. Everything is like, you turn on your TV, there used to be commercials about, everything is a commercial about some pill you need to take. That's why I have that, what your doctor won't tell you. Also, I have another book that says Reclaiming Our Health. Everything over there is about reclaiming our health.
Yes.
I am so adamant about that. Number one, I will never ever let a doctor touch me because they're not doing it for what they signed up. That Hippocratic oath.
Oh, the oath. Yeah.
They're not doing any of that. Everything is like, I've been interviewing dentists. I decided I'm going to interview. I'm not just going to go to any dentist because the last dentist I went to, she tried to charge me for something. I mean, it was the worst care I had ever gotten. So when I try to pay cash, I try to have insurance, and it's still the same because of the way we look.
So what was your experience once you had the fibroids and then
I had surgery?
You had them removed
3 times.
When did you come into realization about your connection to your own body and your own healing?
The last fibroid I had, it was, you know, they always say as big as a grapefruit. They tell everybody that. And I was doing hair. I was living down in LA. But it got so big I couldn't stand up.
Right.
And then, you know, the pain and blah, 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 blah.
The pain, yes.
And so then I went to church.
You went to church in pain?
I went to church because I wanted somebody to pray over me.
Yes.
Because I had to get this surgery, right? And the doctor made me sign these papers, okay? They make you sign a paper that you're going to get a hysterectomy if, you know, blah, 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 blah. I was like, and I'm young, I don't even know. This is what I'm saying. When you're young, you don't even know. And so I signed the paper. So then I said, I don't know, something just told me, right? Like I said, I live my life organically.
Yeah.
To find a church. And
what
get some prayer.
Yeah.
Girl, and I went to this church and they prayed over me, and then I went to the hospital the next morning, and then the preacher called, girl, we prayed over everything like that.
Yes.
And let me tell you, girl, they took out that fibroid. I had never had another problem.
Oh, good.
And let me tell you, before that, I had because I told you I had 3 surgeries. I was living in San Diego. And so I was just bleeding. Oh, it was just a mess. And so I had to go to emergency. And they called me in. And the doctor looked at my chart. He didn't even want to touch me. He said, "Oh, you need hysterectomy." I was like, "What?"
Wow.
I was like, So I just sit there. I was like, okay. So they run all these tests on you, right? They put that blue stuff up in you.
Yeah, the ultrasound is so invasive. That happened to me many times. Well, I experienced that many times.
Girl, I went home. This is when they still had before cell phone. I looked at the yellow pages. I said, you know what? I need help. I said, they're talking about history. I was like, no. It's something, my fingers just pointed to this nurse practitioner. And I called her up and I went there. She did acupuncture on me 3 times. I never had another problem.
Yes.
And that's when I took those fibroids are what made me take control over my health. I'm like, no. Let me just change my diet, you know, because that's everything really has to do with your diet and your stress level. And so if your stress level is, you can't digest your food, you know, you're not going to be able to, your body is just going to shut down. And that's what it did. And I was like, no, it's time to get up. So I just started, that's when I started my journey on holistic practices and, you know, becoming a practitioner and things like that, because I'm adamant, I got to take care of me. This is my body. It doesn't belong to anybody else. And I'm not trying to pay your kids' college tuition. Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know, women need to know.